The weirdest marriage for me is an intelligent woman marrying an idiot of a man. That's the weirdest for me. I mean, I think women are much better off by themselves rather than get married to these idiots called men. So that's the weirdest for me, I guess. I know I'll be upsetting a lot of people, but no, but the dog one shocked me a lot. And the fruit one takes the cake, if I can say so.
Okay. Shine, please
But
go ahead.
also, I feel, if I may just add one point to it, I also feel that when Shahzad shared his Twitter experience with us right now, I feel that there is a big disconnect between the urban and the ones who at least think that they are urban women and the ones they think that they are not urban women, but they come from small time, like, tier two towns or even like, remote areas. And that's why they, because of this perception that okay, we are educated, we are empowered, we come from a certain privilege, so we will not marry a dog. But if they are okay with it, then let's go ahead with it. I mean, this sense of like, urban and non-urban kind of a state, which people feel, which a lot of women feel makes them empowered, is completely wrong. I mean, whether you're living in an urban society, whether you're not in an urban society, the levels of subjugation is always there. It's just that today we are talking about it because this case came forward like a girl marrying a dog, being married to, getting married to a dog forcibly. But as I said earlier, there's just so many cases.
Yeah, actually,
And like so
I wanted to talk about, there is also another custom which happens in southern India, wherein the systems, the girls are dedicated to temples, to a particular temple in the name of gods and goddesses. So the girl is forced to marry a particular god, okay, and they are known as Devdasis. So what happens is that these Devdasis, they are supposed to live the life of celibacy. The practice is attributed to religious cult, and any child born to such Devdasis are traditionally bound to such the practice of Devdasi. And from what I heard is the Devdasis, they are also exploited a lot, since we are talking about women subjugations.
yeah,
So I think this is not something that new. It has been there.
I mean, I come from Guwahati. We have the Kamakhya temple there, the seat of Tantra in India, right? So Kamakhya has also had this tradition of Devdasis, and like I'm quite well aware of this tradition. But you know what? I'd like to also take this platform to point out about the subtle ways in such in how such patriarchy operates, because I do know a friend of mine who is a Kannada from Bangalore. He was once sharing an experience with me that what happens in their marriages. He is from Bangalore, he's from a very upper caste family, let me say. And in their marriages, apparently what happens is that the the father of the bride has at one kind of this thing ritual is there, that the father of the bride has to go to the groom and wash his feet and then request him, please do not leave, my daughter will be like laid, I mean my daughter will be laid redundant, my daughter will have nothing to do in life, she'll be lost, she'll be helpless if you leave. So he has to go and request, and then the groom will be like, okay, let me think, and then again request, and then the groom will come back to the house, and then like the marriage thing will start. Now you tell me, how different is this, like, from such radical examples? I mean, these are levels in which, like, such patriarchy is operating, right? In even like in such well-sanctioned marriage rituals. So
Yeah,
it's just like we need to reflect, we need to introspect on like every kind of process, and not just take one extremely radical example and say that, like, this is just what's making us think. That's why I'm always bothered when I see women like so educated, so doing well in life, take up their husband's surnames.
Yeah, Shine, I'm not surprised to, when you told about this incident, I'm not surprised, because even I've heard incidences like that. Like I also come from Northeast, and even I've heard cases wherein, like the way you said, the girl's father has to, wash the guy's feet, and they have to, the father is made to drink that water. So that, and he pleads to the groom that, keep my daughter happy, do not leave her, and blah blah, all that stuff. And I think this is, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, this is such a sad, it's very sad to know that it happens in modern India. Shehzad, your take on that? So in 1992, Mark Matthews okay, so Mark Matthew, Jerry Springer tried to unravel the mystery of this relationship on his talk show in 1998. However, he failed because talking about zoophilia seemed too outrageous for some TV directors. Therefore, the show was never broadcast. Okay, so a millionaire woman married a dolphin. That was in 2005. Sharon Tendler married Cindy 15 years earlier when she first visited the resort. Tendler took a liking to the dolphin and made a habit of traveling to Israel 2 or 3 times a year and spending time with her underwater sweetheart. 2-year-old tribal Indian girls who married 2 frogs. Okay, this was what I was talking about some time back. So which happened in January 2009, 2 7-year-old Vigneshwari and Maisi Khan girls from the remote Paliput village in India who married 2 frogs. The ceremony was conducted to prevent the outbreak of mysterious diseases in the village. Okay, a man from Sudan married a goat, Charles Toom, a Sudanese man, was forced to take a goat as his wife and paid to the goat owner a dowry of 15,000 Sudanese dinars, which is $75 US dollar, after he was caught having sex with the animal. Fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld, who wants to marry his cat. Oh. In June 2013, the fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld announced that he wished to marry his cat Choupette. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay, the 77-year-old fashion guru said that he never thought it was impossible to love 22-month-old Choupette as much as he does.